Hurts. Jalen Hurts. All right, look, Jalen, I could criticize Nick Sirianni and some of his poor coaching decisions. I could be critical of the Eagles' defense, which has been playing poorly, to put it that way. And I could even excuse the fact, I could use as an excuse the fact that you have had 3 offensive coordinators in the last 3 seasons. That's tough on a quarterback. But the fact of the matter is, while all that's true, you still have not gotten it done. You've been downright sorry for a while now. All right, so you have to look in the mirror too. Here's some of the numbers you put up recently. This year you have 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Not good. In fact, you've had a turnover in your last 9 games. You are 25th in the NFL in passer rating, 85 passer rating. That's horrible. And so you have to come around and get it done, Jalen. Now, I liked your demeanor at the press conference yesterday. You looked relaxed. You looked refreshed. You said this has been one of the most efficient bye weeks of your career. You talked about your relationship with Nick Sirianni like, hey, we mended fences. My words, not yours, but you talked about it like we had some long heart-to-hearts and got everything out in the open, and now we're good. You even said you had confidence in him. And here comes Cleveland. It's just what the doctor ordered. You got Cleveland next. I think they got the Giants after that. 2 very winnable games. You guys could be 4-2 and rolling and put all this stuff about a supernatural funk and all that behind you. And look at the opponent, Deshaun Watson and the Browns. They're perfect. They're just what you need. And look at Deshaun. Now, forget the off-the-field stuff, which we know contributed to his downfall. But a few years ago, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Now he's terrible. You don't want to be that way. So learn from his mistakes on the field and go ahead and turn it around. Jalen, I believe in you. All right.
Let's talk about this. It is just funny because I had showed you guys the side-by-side stats between Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes. You know, Patrick Mahomes right now has 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. And as well as a 69% completion percentage and a passer rating of 88.9. So not very good either. So that's why you can't just go by what your stats are and just automatically say, it's proof that you're not a good quarterback, which is what a lot of people want to do for Jalen Hurts. But yeah, no, I agree with Broussard, though, with all that said, that he is under duress. This game against the Browns, outside of like an insane amount of cluster injuries, right? Like he loses, because he's been playing with missing multiple starting offensive linemen, missing his wide receiver 1, A.J. Brown, and his wide receiver 2 in Devontae, right? Like that becomes incredibly difficult to overcome for any quarterback. And we've seen that even with great elite coaches like Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay. It just becomes very difficult. And again, look no further than Patrick Mahomes' numbers himself. His numbers have been awful. The reason why they were winning is because their defense has been significantly better. So I give them the benefit of the doubt for that. But right now, it should be everyone's healthy. AJ should be back. Devontae should be back. Lane Johnson back. Cam, Mekhi Becton, right? Like everything should be full strength, and you're playing clearly an inferior opponent. So at the very least, and I've made other Eagles videos posted over the last couple of days, and so I'm going to be talking more specifically about Jalen Hurts in this one because I talked about how the only way that the Eagles could lose this game is if Deshaun Watson rewinds the clock back and reminds everyone, yo, I am actually not bad. Get off my back. Let's go. That's the only possible way outside of a bunch of, insane injuries that losing this game or even having this game being close is even remotely acceptable. But with that said, outside again of cluster injuries in the middle of the game, there's zero excuse for Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense to not look good, right? If you want to say, hey, that defense for the Eagles is trash and that's why Deshaun Watson looks great and oh my God, the Eagles are in trouble, that's fine. That's a different conversation. But for Jalen Hurts individually, like he should look great. He should look like a top comfortable quarterback, right? Unless everyone is right, because a lot of people were saying Kellen Moore is not that great of a coordinator, and I don't think that that's true. Unless that ends up being true, that would really be truly the last excuse, safety net, whatever it may be, for protecting Jalen Hurts from criticism. That would be the last thing. But I don't think that's true. So then it would fall on Jalen Hurts. And so this game really coming off a bye, you're well rested, everyone's healthy, everyone understands how important this is. We've seen what other teams and other quarterbacks have done, like the Washington Commanders, the Cowboys, etc. And I even said it too before, especially with regards to the Cowboys, less so the Commanders because they do have a rookie quarterback, so that's obviously going to be different standards. But when the Cowboys won this game convincingly, I was like, the Browns are not that good of a team, and you want to talk about your defense. Deshaun Watson has not been a good quarterback, right? And the Cowboys fans got really angry at me. And again, it proved to be very accurate considering how bad the Browns are. And so if the Eagles win this game, and win convincingly, and Jalen Hurts looks good. And in fact, I don't think even Dak played that well that game, which is what also made a lot of Cowboys fans angry at me. But even if you win, great. Even if you put up 300 plus yards, no turnovers, 4 touchdowns, it's not even like, that's right, Jalen, remind everyone who you are. It's like, you should do this. That is what you should do. Okay, like this is what is expected, and you shouldn't get a parade and confetti thrown for you for doing something that you should be able to do, that should happen. Which is why if it doesn't happen, it's like Mayday, 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 all hands on deck. This is a disaster. And like I said in my previous video, I think if they lose this game, Nick Sirianni would get fired, and honestly, rightfully so. Which again, that would be the last. Because there is some conversations, especially from people who are way more connected to the, and way more in the know than me. They talk about how there's potentially a lot of undercutting of Nick Sirianni and Kellen Moore, which is obviously going to push and pull Jalen Hurts. That there's no clear, approach to what they want to do offensively, how practices are run, that there's just a lot of these types of issues. If that's true, like I said, that is the last excuse for Jalen Hurts, that he's just had this bizarrely weird coach and Nick Sirianni, and when he had Shane Steichen was alpha and dominant enough that he's like, I'm controlling this offense and I got it, and Jalen Hurts looked unbelievable. And when that wasn't the case, Jalen Hurts just was kind of frayed and just not playing as well as he has shown in the past. So, like I said, outside of a true coaching issue, that would be his only last excuse. But after that, everything else would truly fall on Jalen Hurts. And so the way I see this all unfolding is things either correct, and now Jalen Hurts looks significantly better, and therefore the Eagles look significantly better. And it's like, hey, everything's all good now. Let's go. Hey, we're partying. Or things continue to be kind of frayed and messed up. Sirianni gets fired, and now Jalen Hurts will still be given one last year of the benefit of the doubt. They'll bring in a new coach, depending on who that coach is, Ben Johnson, whoever, doesn't even matter at this point. Then it's like, you got this year to show that it was actually Nick Sirianni who was holding you back and everything else back that was causing just weird whatever. And then it's like, if that doesn't work, then it's like, yeah, you better believe that the Eagles are going to move on from Jalen Hurts, right? Like they absolutely would move on, and better believe that they are not poorly run like the Cleveland Browns. And so no, they are not going to linger for years with a quarterback who clearly is just not good. So that's where things kind of get interesting. So I do think that and that's why it's interesting that Brew brought up, Deshaun Watson, because he's like, Deshaun Watson, look what that quarterback was supposed to be, right? And the year that the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I believe, is when everybody was like, oh my God, look what Watson is doing with the Houston Texans. I mean, like, he was supposed to be, Deshaun Watson was literally supposed to be Patrick Mahomes before Patrick Mahomes, right? Like, he was supposed to be this next evolution of the quarterback, just brilliant, had a cannon, could be mobile, could do it all. He got injured, things got derailed. Then, of course, off the field stuff happened, and, and now look who he is. There's a reason why he got paid the amount of money that he got paid, and how he got paid it is because they believed this guy was truly transcendent and truly great. And now look where it's all gone, right? And so it is like Jalen Hurts, You do not want that to be your story in the NFL. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Jalen Hurts? Do you think it's appropriate that he is under, he is Broussard's under duress list? And how do you think the Eagles will look versus the Cleveland Browns? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.